Holy crap. Let's go. Before we start, I'll give you a quick overview of the coaster so far. The station is here. It goes this way. Then it goes onto the rotating table here. Goes under here. Goes all the way under here. Pops out here. And then you're here in this section. And here you see you've got the big splash and the shark area. And as we make our way through the city that we built, we go into this temple building here. And that's where we are now. And that's where we're going to continue. In this section here. So, let's go. Oh, sorry. I've got such stupid humor. But in the last episode we built this entrance to this area. Now I'm just first doing some terraforming. As you can see, I wanted to create an underground secret temple. And to do that, I first needed to create a mountain range. And then a little bit of a valley in the middle. The middle section was gonna be all covered by terrain eventually. But I still first needed to design the temple. And find out where I was going to put the track. But I had the general idea of having track on the left and the right side of the temple. And I have a really like a grand entree with a massive good view. So that's what I'm trying to make here. So I brought the track to the side and then make it come down in the water. But like usual, I changed this eventually. I also placed down some ruin walls just to have a rough outline of this section. And this is what we have so far. That's quite nice terrain already, but I really wanted to fill it up with temple pieces and have this grand entree hall, as you saw in the intro. Well, not really, I kind of kept it a little bit secret, but you'll see what I mean soon. I've placed down in the meantime some temple pieces on the side, with a little bit of a curve to it, and some really tall columns. This temple was going to be really tall and touching the roof, and making sure the temple doesn't collapse, even though it does a little bit later on. But you'll see, wait and see, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I created a little bit more depth by having these wall pieces just poking out a little bit on the sides. And then I tried to decorate the columns a little bit with these pieces, which I've used throughout the whole play so far. And then I put down a rock, just an indication of where the terrain was going to stop and how tall the temple was gonna be. And with that, this is the basic part of the temple? I don't know. There was still a lot of uncertainty on my end on how this temple exactly was gonna work out, what it was gonna look like, what elements I was gonna put in. All I knew, I wanted it to be very old, broken down, and rustic. Well, rustic, I mean, you know, fitting in the theme that we brought in the park so far. So very much old temples, crumbled down ruins, Bughylonian structures, and lots of plants. You'll see later on what I mean. I decided to make a little temple here, inside the temple, and that was gonna be my tomb. King Bughuuls' tomb, which I thought would be pretty cool to have inside there. You see me fiddle around a little bit to create a circle here. That was gonna be the outline of the tomb inside the big temple. And it was gonna have my sarcophagus. And yeah, some other cool things inside there. But I figured out, why don't I use the mirroring tool that you can use when you work with the animation pieces. And that's how I created this circular roof on the top, as you can see here. All you do is just play around a little bit with the density, the rotation of the pieces, and you can also duplicate it, and it fits perfectly on here. And as you can see, it's a relatively nice roof. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Obviously it doesn't look very pretty now, but once the theming is done, it completely blends in and you won't notice the sharp edges on the roof that you can see there now. I promise. Okay? Promise! Oh, I choked on my video footage. I wasn't finished yet, so let's continue. I really wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do with this temple, but I thought I had a cool idea of placing down a rotation table in there and having the boat go backwards through the temple. Having a little backwards roller coaster section. But, as you can see in the end, it really wouldn't have worked because of the way that the coaster was designed, and I had to create another rotating table to then rotate them around again so that they can see the main sequence and the main triggered events that I had in mind. So I ended up just making a corner here and then later on placing down a rotating table. Awesome stuff! This is what it looks like! I just wanted to show you what I was meaning. This is the little temple. Inside the little temple, well, this is gonna be the big temple. But this is the little temple. Templetation. This is so confusing. I'm not learning anything. You know what I'm learning? How to make big arches. I really made some big arches, as you can see here. And they were gonna outline the outside of the temple. I wanted the roof of the temple to be half collapsed and the terrain to be half covering the temple. You'll see later on what I mean. And then have these arches support the temple, keeping the whole thing together. And pretty much making the foundation of this temple. So after going through the little temple, that's based inside the big temple, you're going up a little bit. And then you come down to create some momentum for the roller coaster section. And then here you can see I placed down a rotating table inside the midi temple. That's based in the big temple. So if you enter Bughuul's tomb, you rotate a little bit and then you make your way up to the chain lift. I decorated the sides a little bit more to make it all blend in with what I built before. And then I worked on the top, placed down lots of rocks and made some terrain. That's the end part of this section. I worked a little bit on some coaster track. After that little chain lift, I bring it down to the left. And this is the area where I was gonna make the contraption that I had in my mind. But I really wanted the coaster to go over it, or at least be somewhat integrated with it. So I stopped it for there and started building a little bit on the supports to keep the arches up. And as you can see, I'm really trying to pull off that grand entrance reveal scene, and it's looking pretty good. So I tried to build a little bit more of coaster track. I brought it over to the other side of the temple now and making it come down. And then I really wanted to have water in the middle of the temple. So somehow I was gonna create a splash down there, a splash zone. I wanted to bring it outside as well. So I brought it to the right side, outside, and then make it come back inside the temple. And I really wanted to create a cool wooden bridge there or something like that to support it, which you'll see me do later on. So stick around if you want to see that. And then have a big splash zone here. And I was quite happy with the way this was looking. Again, I really wanted the water to cover some of the splash zone area, because the water looks so much more better than the water effects in the splash zone. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. You'll see later on what I mean. Now that I had this outside section, I obviously wanted to create more waterfalls, because water is a big theme in Boogie Woogie Wonderland or Bughylonian. There's water everywhere, and I really wanted to incorporate water features in this section as well. So pretty happy with how this looks. Obviously, it's not polished yet, but we'll get to that later. Really all I'm doing here in this section of the build is just polishing the temple and integrating it better with the terrain and its surroundings. That means placing down some pieces and some rocks, like what we usually do on this channel. It's a rock solid channel, I guess. But it's important not to ruin the channel, get it? And I never liked this wall, but I'll get over it. They are, however, always very supporting. And the foundation of my builds. Nice. This pattern that you see here, those little bows, They come back every time, in every place. Consistency is a really good thing to keep the theme cohesive, and that's what I'm doing here. Same with these archers. Also, they are everywhere, all throughout Bughylonian, and I really wanted to keep it consistent. Thus, I placed them down here as well. Slowly but surely, the temple was coming together, and the rough outlines of the temple was really taking shape. And once this is done, it allows me to be more creative with the roller coaster and theme the roller coaster and bend it in ways so that it blends in with the terrain. When you just have empty ground and no solid foundation or an outline of what the temple was gonna look like, it's really hard to come up with a design. So when that's something you're struggling with, all you have to do is just start building and it starts taking shape by itself. Really, trust me, it sounds really difficult, just build out of nowhere. But really, once you start building, it all comes to you eventually. Also, what I've said before in my tutorials, by designing roller coasters, I often build and theme at the exact same time. This really allows me to integrate the roller coaster with the terrain and with its surroundings, and it doesn't make the coaster feel forced in a way. Don't know exactly how to explain that properly, but yeah, hopefully that's a little bit clear. That's what I'm doing here. I'm building and theming at the exact same time, and it's really helpful and keeps me creative. So yeah, this is what we have so far. Oh, it's really coming along nicely. I'm so happy, so let's go! I'm Bug, so happy, just terraforming. I'm Bug, I am so happy, in my element. I'm Bug, just terraforming, so happy in my element. So nice, look at this temple, super awesome. Yeah, I'm rapping, booble bobble bapping. Boogie in his element, terraforming management, planet coaster 2 style. I'm so happy, so I smile. Rocky here, rocky there. My favorite fruit is a pear. What is yours? I don't know. Didn't ask you, so don't know. Now I'm running out of rhymes. Murder beats like Rick Grimes. Building tunnels, building mines on the beach side with the rhymes. Yeah! Book! That was incredible! Oh my god! Talent! Crazy times. Oh, let's continue. Oh, I know you all want signatures now. Be famous. You can do that by clicking this button right here in the bottom right corner, and then click the subscribe button. Yes. Oh, I've wasted too much time. Now it's time to do some more building. I really wanted to create this relic I was talking about before, but this butt. What's wrong with the butt? Butt cheeks everywhere. I created this upwards coaster track that you can see here, and then the relic was gonna go underneath, and I had a really cool idea how to incorporate the coaster with the relic. So that's it, and that's I don't know what I'm saying, and that's it's gonna be very nice. So, let's start building the relic, shall we? First, we make the outlier of the relic. It's just a circle. Super exciting. Then, we chuck down the relic onto the coaster track. And then, we move the coaster around a little bit. And then it's right in place. And yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. The idea I had for the relic was a big circle rotating with gears inside and a sigil at the front, a protective sigil. I'm sure this is super clear to y'all, but it will make sense later on. I promise. So here you see me filling in the circle on this rotating piece, and then if I spin it around like this, it looks pretty cool. We connect it all together and making sure that the full circle is filled. couldn't fill it accurately, so I just did this. Pretty nice. You don't see this anyway, it's just a circle. So I chucked down the circle, as you can see here, and you can see the rotating part is filling right inside the circle. So yeah, pretty happy with it. Now all I'm doing is just filling in the outside so that you can see the ugly square rotating piece in the background. It all makes sense later, I promise. Look, you keep saying you promise things, that it will get easier to understand, but it's just getting more complicated. Oh, sorry. Well, here's the snap belt. I can hear you all think, where does this rotating platform comes from? I didn't show it because I deleted it, so it's not going to be there anyway. So I didn't want to waste your time. You're wasting my time with this? Oh, okay. What's this bird, by the way? It's a kiwi, the national animal of New Zealand. Oh, can you eat it? No, it's not a kiwi fruit. I'm sure you can eat it. I'm sorry, I spent too much time on stupid jokes and stuff. Now I swear we'll do some building. I installed the cogs, which were gonna be a big part of this rotating relic that I'm building on. It's actually really big. It doesn't look very big, but it is really big when you approach it with the coaster. So I installed these cogs, and I wanted these cogs to rotate in a way that it will look like that it's rotating the platform, as you can see here. I also installed some cogs in between, so that one thing is rotating the next thing, and it's all in motion and more accurate, more, how do you say that? Realistic, instead of just random rotating cogs. That makes no sense. This is more realistic. But Book, you said you didn't do realism. Sorry, sometimes I like to do a little bit of realism. I then designed the sigil using these dwarven pillars. And filled everything in with temple pieces. And then now, for the grand reveal. Oh, I forgot to attach it to the platform. This is what it actually is looking like. Really cool. Half in the water, half out of the water. The gears are rotating one way, and it's just, yeah, really nice. Very happy with the end result. If you like big surprises, I really think you're gonna love this. I had this really cool idea of underwater statues that guard the relic, that come up as you approach it, and I was gonna make it realistic, so the moment that the statues come up, as you can see here, there's water pouring down their faces, because obviously it's from underwater and going outside of the water. And there's gonna be splashes and water effects and some really cool axes on the back of these statues. Oh, I'm so excited to show you guys. If you want to see what this looks like, stick around until the end, where I'll show you exactly what it does and when it's triggered and what happens. Really cool. Now obviously I needed to clear the back section after the statues with the wall of water, which means I could only fill one side, as you can see here, and the other side I had to cover with terrain, which I then had to cover with these wall pieces, otherwise it would look really ugly. It was quite tricky, but I found out that the wall needs to be very thin, and only if there's a thin wall, it doesn't need to require a specific thickness to be able to hold the water on the side. Just honestly, 1 pixel is more than enough to hold the water on the side. And that worked out really well. I also made some adjustments, as you can see here, to the rotating relic, so that I could build a coaster underneath. I really wanted to create a really cool drop underneath the relic, and it will look awesome. I then did a little bit of finer detailing and creating a little bit of, more water elements to this drop section here and some waterfalls. It was looking really cool so far. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. As you've probably seen by now, you see me often start one thing, then jump on the next thing, and then the next thing. And I'm never constantly working on the same thing. I'm always building something and then encountering a problem, trying to solve the problem, and then building again and then encountering another problem. This is all to create a better coaster design and have the coaster integrate better with the environment. As I explained before, theming and building at the exact same time. I installed some of these big rotating water wheels, and I thought that it just looks really nice together with all the gears that are already there. These are just water gears, I guess. I connected them to a wooden rod to make it look more realistic. For some reason, I just thought it looked really cool. And we're back. And just like that, Bughuul asked me to do a little bit of recording on his channel. If you want to better understand how to make realistic landscapes, oh, that was a lot of ups and downs talking like this. I made a tutorial on Bughuul's channel. Go check it out in the top right corner right now, as we speak. You see that? Very nice. So, I sink in a lot of rocks in the terrain to make the terrain look more realistic. And just like that, it's looking so much better. Back to Bug. This was Bughuuls. Alright, so I had this crazy idea of having a big boulder falling from the roof and making it look like the place is crumbling down a little bit. So I'm attaching these animation pieces into the wall, sink them in so you don't actually see them, and then you see that rock all the way up there. That one is going to fall down as you enter the temple. You've got a really cool look at the temples, like the big reveal scene, and then you see a big rock falling down, and then obviously a big water splash in the end. Pretty cool effect. It'll look really cool on the on-ride. After that, I did a couple of really small things, just extending some walls and then incorporating the terrain with the building a little bit better, making some walls connect together as you can see here. And other than that, I didn't really do a whole lot, so I did install actually some of these extra wheels, connected them and make it all look a little bit more intricate and more technical. I thought it would give a really cool vibe to the entrance of the ruin, just where the drop is. That's so confusing. I also attached some of these half rings to the top of the relic, and the coaster just goes underneath there, and I aligned it perfectly with the ruin that's spinning around. It's pretty much a big Y. I wanted to have one in the middle, one on the left and one on the right. It looks pretty cool, and on the POV it looks really cool going through these half circles. Yeah, this is the snap build. I already have a lot of water features in this park, and I wanted to continue that trend and create more water features and incorporate the temple that we've built so far a little bit better with the terrain and keep the theme consistent. This means cascading waterfalls and plants. That's what I'm working on now, just to get a general idea for the cascading waterfall. And I found out that if you have these water pieces sunk in a little bit, you can create really nice in-between pools of water. And then from there on, you can have your waterfall come down. Pretty nice. Now the fact that there's a waterfall at the top also means it could spill to other sides. And I really wanted a big waterfall to fall down from the top of the temple, inside the temple, in the water, all the way at the bottom where our coaster is. And that way, once you go by boat, you got this big waterfall coming down, splashing in, as you can see here. It's so nicely incorporated, and I'm so happy with this. But obviously I could put the waterfall pieces all the way at the top, but I couldn't bring it all the way down. But I came up with an ingenious idea to have this waterfall reach the bottom. So all I did pretty much is just installing some of these vines, these climbing, what do you call them? I call them vines, trellis, something like that. And I hang them from the sides, and in there I could hide the waterfall pieces. And when I have that, you don't see the waterfall pieces, but you can extend the waterfall and have it come and reach all the way down the bottom. I also placed some more vines all over the place to make the temple look a little bit more overgrown. It really adds to the theme, in my opinion. Now I had this outside area where the coaster briefly pops out of the temple and comes out for guests to look at. This was obviously not supported, and I didn't want to use the normal regular supports from the coaster, so I used wooden pieces to build a little bridge, and I think it looks pretty cool. After installing some vertical beams, I also placed down some sideways horizontal beams to connect everything together. It's looking really nice. Quite happy with the end result. I also placed down some trees, as you can see here. Finding the right tree for the right spot, that's my profession. That's what I do when I play this game. I'm very particular about where I put my plants, just to keep it as natural as possible. Ah, that was a good snap build. I really wanted to show you guys a little bit of a bird's eye overview of this temple. As you can see that in the bottom right corner. It's massive. It's so big. It pretty much takes up a quarter of Bughylonia so far. Bughylonia is coming together so well and looks really nicely incorporated. But let's continue. I'm feeling like my episodes of my videos have become a little bit long. I'm now already on 27, almost 28 minutes. And yeah, my videos are getting quite long and they take a very long time to build and design and edit. I don't like to have or provide a half quality video. So I always spend quite a bit of time on editing, but obviously that takes time, and at this rate I'm only releasing one video every 2 weeks, which I'm a little bit frustrated about. So what I might be doing in the near future is maybe having about 10 to 15 minutes of building and then a little bit of after talk, what we normally do. So that way I can maybe provide a couple more videos, or at least increase the frequency of video release and still keep you guys entertained and not waiting so long every time for my videos. I apologize for that, but also I work full time and it's sometimes really hard to come home and then build and edit and then continue working. And inspiration is also one of those things that, you know, it's a hit and miss per day depending on how you feel. And because I've been sick and I've had some health issues, it's all just been delayed. But I'm rambling on. In the background you see me placing down plants, so let's have a look at the end result. Let me know down below, by the way, in the comment section on what you prefer. These really long videos, which are a little bit less frequent, or more videos with a little less duration. I'm really needing to find a healthy balance between length and duration and the time I spent on it. But that's enough talking for now. I spend a little bit of time on building more custom bridges on the left and the right for when you go over the relic. It looks really nice. And again, this part wasn't supported, so I wanted to build a bridge of some sort. And I thought the design that I used before would work pretty well. That's what I did. That's what I applied. And this is what it looks like. I already had a statue placed on one side of the temple, and I wanted to place this on the other side as well. But that means I had to extend my wall a little bit so it's not floating. So I worked a little bit on this side of the temple, built a little bit on the wall, and made sure that it all looks nice and integrated. I again brought back this pattern that I've been applying all over Bughylonian, these circular wooden pieces, and just put them on the top of the wall. And I figured it was time for pimp my water, because the water was just plain water. So I sunk in some rocks and I placed down some crates and some pots, sunk them in the water, and it just looks quite nice, like it's been there for ages, like it belongs there. Another thing I did to really enhance the quality of the realism, but also greenery and old look to it, I installed these moss pieces right on the water level, and that way it looks like the moss has grown on the sides of the walls, and it gives a little bit more oldness to the build. Very nice. I also placed down some of these cracks that you can see all over the walls. Then there was only one more thing to do. Turn this thing into a temple of King Bughuul, the ruler of Bughylonian. Obviously, I still hadn't finished his little tiny temple that I was talking about before with the grave, so that's what we're doing here. First, King Bughuul was always known to have lots of women around. So he had obviously some female guardians. So I'm placing down some statues that guard the tomb to King Bughuuls, where he is resting. Obviously, I couldn't not have animation pieces here. So I've got a really cool idea. I'm installing these rotating cogs on the side that drive the chain lift. You see me do this quite a lot. And then I installed some axes and some swords on the back of these statues. And then once you go there, the statue moves and the axe swings, and they swing together and they make a spark. I even installed a tiny little spark in one of the blades, and it just, tiny little effect, but it makes a difference, in my opinion. I placed down a couple of pots and pans, some rubble, themed the whole thing together, tiny little rubble details, and just makes it a lot more cohesive. I knocked out some walls to make some room for the tomb of Bughuul, where he may rest. After his year-long reign, he passed away, and then this is where he is buried, pretty much. Now, after his years and years and years of reign, he obviously saved up a decent amount of capital, so he was quite rich. So what he did, he put all the money that he earned throughout his years of ruling into these cool vases, all for display for people to see, just to show off how rich he was. I wish I was like him in real life. No, I can barely afford my rent. It's great. Living life on the edge, always great. Put down a statue, that's me. a copy of me, pretty much, and then some light. Yeah. And then obviously the coins, they were everywhere. So I pretty much made a little set of 5 or 6 coins and then grouped them together, and then it's really easy to cover certain areas with coins. You just simply copy them and then paste them and chuck them down. It's quite nice. Also this bucket full with coins. So yeah, this is the end result of Bughuul's tomb. I just wanted to take this time to dedicate this coffee machine that I made to one particular person in this community. Their name is Kona Coffee, and they made an incredibly generous offer to me, a donation, I have to say. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I was so incredibly grateful. I felt like I had to do something, and I looked at the name and it was Kona Coffee, and I was like, wait a minute, I can do something about this. This coffee place I made in episode 4, It's called Barista Bros. It's a coffee machine, and you can get coffee there. But I decided to rename it to Kona Coffee instead. Very applicable, and I just wanted to say a huge thanks to you, Kona. So I hope this makes up for it. Alright, here we are. Look at it. It's incredible. What? Oh, it's a glitch. Look, when I zoom in, it does this. Look, and when I zoom out, it does this. And in and out and in and out and oh my god. Crazy times. Book is crazy. Anyway, look, here we are. We, in this episode, we built this section. And, it's kind of crazy to think where we started. That's why the reason why I started zoomed out. When I first started building, I started making this. This is the first episode making this square, like this area here. And then the second episode is making this sign and this entrance. And then the third episode is this square and building this. It just looks so cool. Hey, I'm so happy still with how it turned out. So that's the first. The fourth episode was this ride we built, episode 4. Episode 5 we started building this, built the general layout and started this section. And episode 6 we built this building. Episode 7 we made this. And here we are, episode 8. The Temple of King Bughuul. Oh my. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It came out way nicer than I anticipated. And it's so nicely incorporated in the terrain, I think. I mean, look. You can see down there. It's so cool. I'm so happy. Yeah, so why don't we go and check it out? And then have a ride on the coaster. And then we call it a day. Anyway, so we'll go here. So Temple of King Bughuul. This is where you enter. And then you have this massive revealing scene of this underground temple. It just... Oh, look at that relic. It's so cool. Yeah, you got this big revealing scene. And it looks so cool when you look up. Look at it. Oh damn, I'm so proud of this work. I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did making. So we come from here. We obviously see this rock fall down into the water, making a big splash. I just thought it's like a little cute, animation. I really like my animations. Here you got some animations as well. And then here we've got the tomb. And this is me. I looked at Medusa, I turned to stone. And this is my grave. And then you do like a little twisty, spinny. And we go up here. Maybe why don't we let the coaster come here, shall we? We got the stone coming down here. Look at this. So be cool. Wee sploosh. And then this start rotating. We got the swords, and even I made a little metal sparky effect of the swords hitting each other. Then we've got the tomb. It rotates a little bit. I was thinking of maybe adding an animation here, but I feel like otherwise it might turn into an animation overkill. So I just left it plain. We got the coaster going up there. I really like this area. Look at this arch. It's like perfectly rounded to the coaster track. Yeah, it's really cool. Here we go. It goes down there. And here we got this really cool section. Goes over here. Drops down here. Goes this way. Pops outside for a wee bit. Over this really cool bridge I made. I'm super happy with this. I think it blends in well. And then we splash down. It starts bubbling. Statues come up. And look at the water pouring down the face. As you go up here, the relics start twisting around, and then you drop down. Really cool. The idea is that you drop down there, and then you hop right onto a chain lift, and you go all the way up. Like, oh, I'm gonna build a big mountain region here. Maybe some mountainous ruins or something like that. And then have it sploosh down into main Bughylonian. And that will be the end of the ride, because the ride's already pretty long. But how cool is this ride? There's just whole areas built towards the ride. It's super nicely incorporated in the terrain. And I reckon we just go and have a crack at riding this thing, shall we? Here we go. Couple more things I really want to make, and some themes I want to pull off. But I think I'm really happy with what we have so far. And I can't wait, honestly, I can't wait to start building on this new themed area. I've been working for so long on this section of the park now. And it's obviously like taking me quite a while, because everything is so highly detailed. So many triggers and so many, you know, custom built houses and themed areas I'm trying to make. I'm really happy with how it turned out. But I can't wait to start building on this fantasy part. I got so many cool ideas. And I can't wait to show you guys. Super excited. So hopefully you guys stick around and be able to see Boogie Woogie Wonderland evolve even more. Yeah, I'm super stoked. It's just so cool how the water is flowing on, partly on the tracks and stuff as well. You might get a little bit splooshed on. We got this rock falling down here. Yeah, did you see the sparks? It's so cool. Tiny little thing, but it makes it more realistic. Even though there's nothing realistic about this coaster. But it's fine. I like I've said many times in the past, I'm not really a realism builder. I love building for the experience, and I love building for the things that you experience, and not really realism. It's not really my thing. Never will be, I think. Like, this is not realistic, but that's fine. Here we got the statues. Oh, this looks so cool. And the relic. And down we go. Into a cave. Holy shit. Someone didn't clean that out. So yeah. That's pretty much it for me. If you like this stuff, please consider subscribing. It will help me out a lot. You don't have to subscribe if you just want to stick around and watch. I'm not building this, not doing any of this stuff for subscribers. I just like to make videos, build some epic shit, and show you guys. Also, another small little detail. I put down some moss on the side where the water hits the wall, because I wanted to pull off the effect that the water has been sitting here for a long time, because it's an abandoned temple. So all this moss here just looks really cool, and I think it looks, yeah, quite realistic actually. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you got any ideas of where I can put this flat ride down. Maybe I can make another coaster. Any ideas? Let me know down below. And before we go, I forgot to show you guys. So this is like the Bughylonian area. I also did a little bit of rebranding, as you can see in the video, on this shop. We now have a Kona coffee shop. Look at it. Kona coffee. It was Barista Bros, which is something I came up with. It's pretty cool, but I wanted to say a massive thank you to one of my community members, Kona. And they are amazing. Don't know why they are so generous. Oh, what's happening? Yeah, this is happening. But thank you for, you know what you did. This incredibly generous donation you did for me. I am so grateful. and it's really helped me out. Particularly, like, honestly, the last few weeks have been a little bit rough health-wise, but I'm feeling so much better, and I really think I've got the worst over with. Yeah, so Kona, thank you so much. You know, I've talked to you. I really appreciate you. Yeah, it blends in well with the Boogie Beans roastery, and obviously Kona coffee is not functioning without Boogie Beans. So make sure that Boogie Beans is the bean type of choice of Kona coffee. Boogie beans are obviously grown from the boogie plants. Boogie bean coffee plants, very important. Look at these coffee plants. Yes. So, that was a bit of a detour, but yeah. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye!